Beating this game using only shields. There are two in this game. The shield charger, which will be our main source of damage and protection, and the hollow shield glove, which is kinda there. I'm not planning on using it that much. See, the shield charger moves with me and zaps enemies. This is all done on a New Game Plus save file, because you can't get these weapons so early otherwise. And the great thing is that the shield charger zaps enemies starting from level 5. So I am hopeful that we can actually deal damage. In most cases we have two potential strategies. The first one is the run and gun strategy. Although it's not really a gun, but whatever. Let's just call it the passive-aggressive strat. Get as close as I can to the enemies to deal the maximum damage and kill them all. This strategy is, at least for now, very effective, but also takes time. And that is the reason why I levitate more to the second strategy. And that is to just run past most things. This game loves to throw so many enemies at you, but most of them are just optional. Take the Florana jungle for example. All these enemies don't have to die, so I will just run through most of them with the occasional zap from my handy shield to push them away. The rules of this run are simple. We are not allowed to do damage to enemies with anything besides shields. There is just one exception where I do allow myself to use something else, and that is the things that the game uses to alternate your weapons, like the hover ship or inferno power boxes. There are very few of those in the game, and I figured that when the game is generous enough to give them to me, might as well use them, right? I think I used them all of twice. Inferno power, a feature we have never seen return in any game after this one. Maybe they wanted to capitalize on the things that made Jak and Daxter successful? That's what I think. Anyway, this was all very easy. The Path of Pain feels like a time save since it doesn't even cost us time to wait for the fires, or the time for Ratchet to take damage by them. Or worse, falling in the pit and dying. I feel like we are on speedrun pace for my skill level. But I thought the Quark fight might pose a challenge for one particular reason. You see, we can buy ammo for our shield charger from vendors. So obviously we max out, equip a shield and max out again. That gives us 6 shields in total. One of those is equipped right away. But there is no other way of gaining ammo for the shield charger other than this method. It doesn't spawn from boxes and you cannot buy it from the PDA. You know, the pocket vendor that this game has. Another feature we never saw return. But this is why my first thoughts are that this run will not be possible. I do also notice that right now my trusty shields are dealing quite good chunks of damage to Quark, and it is in fact enough to take him out. But please remember that my weapon is currently on max power. The enemies and unfortunately also bosses will progressively get more health, and this is why this run will be a close one, if possible at all. And with that, we make it to Marcadia. The beginning part was only slightly hard. I ran through most enemies. I keep thinking that if I have to reset because of a lack of ammo, then I know I can probably do a lot better than I currently have. I know I was a little reckless, but who cares, right? I rarely get hit. The next part is a series of challenges where the Tyranoids keep on throwing enemies at you, and I keep on running towards them. Tanks, if I can call them that, are a 3-hit KO, so we just run aimlessly through the arena. There was never a threat. Luckily, this strat did work out for me and we can continue. We play the Quark vid comic and that brings us to Annihilation Nation, which we can easily run through the gauntlet on speedrun records. Enemies are 2-hit KOs mostly, so that's not the issue. The real enemy here is boredom, so I think you'll manage. Now, Planet Aquatos is entirely different story though, and I actually had some pretty close calls here. What makes this level hard is that the amoeboids keep multiplying. So if you kill one of them with 1 or 2 of your precious few shields, they multiply and now there are 2, and later 4. It's not per se hard, but it costs much ammo to actually get through this part. I do know that you can actually run all the way back to the beginning to buy new ammo, but the truth is, I don't want to. I really have never looked into speedrun tricks for this game before, but I feel like I am on speedrun record time for my amateur level. So if I can keep that up, that would be great. I really want to showcase this weapon as best as I can, and I really think that I am delivering on that. But David, why is this video not called How Fast Can You Beat Ratchet and Clank 3 Using Only Shields? If it's so easy. Well, dear audience member, that is a legit question. That is because this run keeps getting harder. And talking about getting hard, look no further than planet Tyrannos. We can't run through all of the enemies in the beginning and just zap these... whatever these are to complete the level. After that we have the classic path with the 4 routes. And by going fast, I ended up going slow, because I died once, because I fell into the water. But this is all very easy. So I want to talk about the fight against Mama Tyranoid, because, while they have so many lives, way more than our shield can handle. The run is going more than excellent up until this point, but I think the run might be in serious jeopardy. All of the preparation we can do is that I equip a shield charger before the battle and I max out my ammo after that. So in my first battle, you see how many damage we do. There's no way we're winning this. So, is the run over? Well, there is one more thing I can do, and that is look into the Ultra Shield Glove. I mean, by going fast I really haven't thrown around too many. It doesn't deal damage, so it's merely there to absorb a hit. But damage to me is really no issue. And also, what am I protecting myself from? Mama Tyranoid keeps on smacking me and hits me with the rare machine gun. But wait a minute, did you see that? Did the bullets bounce off my shield to hit Mama instead? Wait, I have to test this. So I keep on running away until Mama does the gun attack. And oh my, it works. To be fair, I haven't run this game in years, so please forgive me for not remembering all the details, but holy damn, I didn't know this was a thing. And that means that we now have a second way to deal damage. It pains me to see how little damage this is, but I digress. This run unfortunately ends by a stupid play of me where I fell off the map, but that's okay. Because in the second part of the battle, they occasionally skip the machine gun part to make way for rockets. And although that deals damage, I think, that's not practical. So the strat is to equip a shield, max out my ammo, and for the first half of the fight, end that one shield charger shield that is active. In the second half, we will repeat this, but we will add the other 5 shield charges into the mix. Now, something strange happens that I haven't seen anywhere else in the run. And that is these weird lines that connect Mama and the Ultra Shields. I have no idea what they do, or if they deal damage and why they are here. But this was literally the only time I saw these lines between the shields and the enemy. So I don't know what's up with those, but I ignored them for now. And with this method, we may even have enough ammo to make it to the end. The strategy does work. With currently 5 shield charges and 7 Ultra Shields left, we finish part 1 of the fight. But since I want all the ammo, something weird happens. The game suspects me to go into this hallway, but I collect this precious Ultra Shield ammo. Because yes, Ultra Shields give 1 ammo from ammo crates. So the game kinda sucks me into this hallway, it seems. Anyway, that does bring my ammo count to 5 and 9. And if things won't randomly change, or, you know, I just don't randomly fall off the platform like an idiot, things should be fine. And I do way more damage in phase 2 than in phase 1, because now is the time where I use shield charges. The reason why I didn't yet is because I can get every ammo from the first room and not let it go to waste. And just like that, we did it. A great obstacle, which I was really hesitant on, we actually overcame the barrier. Mama Tyranoid is defeated, and we did nothing but throw down shields. But our troubles on Tyrannos are not over. We have to help the Galactic Rangers to rescue this island. Now the hard thing about that is the amount of enemies and rocket launchers, who deal big damage. So what we're gonna do is try to kill enemies that have already spawned and are a threat currently. Really live in the moment. The reason is that if you move much to the back, 4 of these rocket launchers will spawn to annihilate you. With some careful jumping, I can imagine that I will die because of that, but it's not even that. See, the more damage enemies, rocket launchers in this case, do, the less shield charge time we have. And that would mean that at some point we run out of ammo and are unable to deal damage and thereby finish the challenge. So yes, I end up dying. Not because it was hard, but because my shield time depleted. Off to plan B then. On the fight at our base, I don't equip a shield. I need them for later and we only have 5. Since at this place we cannot equip one before starting the battle. You know, because officially this run only starts from a transport ship. We clear up everything here with the damage that the rangers do, but also the bounces from our holo shields. Now that I understand them, I really can use them in my favor. I would also replenish 2 of my holo shield ammo by using 2 ammo crates here, and I try to have the tank kill the small Tyranoids to save up on potential shield charger ammo. When we're advancing onto the bridge, the ultra shields are perfect. Sorry, I keep going back and forth on holo shields and ultra shields. I mean, they're just the same thing in my eyes, but with both terms I mean the placeable shields. The bridge is just a small corridor where the enemies will fire from. They will hit each other, and by placing holo shields, the bullets will just bounce back occasionally. So this bridge is absolutely no problem. Now to equip a shield charge and run as fast as possible to this rocket launcher and kill the tanks immediately after that. A little up ahead, I clear all the ground troops first and intentionally leave the tanks behind for later. They will hit the enemies on the ground floor, saving me time. For our last push, I will try to deal with the rocket launchers in a straight path to evade possibly more rockets. When my current shield charge depletes, it gets a bit messy since I try ultra shield shenanigans, but it's not worth it. You should have 2 more ammo available of the shield charges. It's nice the ultra shields are there, but with this strategy you will win nonetheless. Now let's talk about the final battle. We push up the bridge immediately to put down these ultra shields for the group that spawns here. It won't take long for them to kill each other or be killed by my shields. Now I have taken some damage and it cost me plenty of shields, so please backtrack our entire platform to take all the lives and especially ammo. Because further up the hill and on the ground floor, groups will spawn again. And this is actually the strong point of the Ultra Shield Glove. Only 4 shields can exist at the same time, but just throw them into or before groups. Sooner or later, the enemies will die, and if not, you can also decide to shield charge. But I think I will need all of those for the attack on the enemy base. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but better to be safe than sorry. Speedrun records are long gone by now, so no need for that. But this is the cool thing about this challenge. The shield charger is the attacker of the 2, it does by far the most damage. The ultra shields are more defensive types and deal small amounts of support damage. They really are a good team together. Although good team, relatively speaking of course. What do I mean by that? Well, take a look at this. I just take as much ammo as I can find and I actually make it all the way here without ever using a shield charge. But right now, time to attack the enemy base. And I have found an amazing strategy. I tried to place a holo shield for the big turrets, but that doesn't work. Now what I would do is to position myself so that the farthest turret from my perspective shoots the other one. For me, I just have to run towards the other one and quickly take it out. And this strategy works wonders. I even have plenty of shield charges left. So, we finished the challenge, yeah? Well, not exactly. See, there is one tank up on the enemy base. He's literally the last enemy. And maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I can't seem to reach this guy. If this single enemy costs us the run, that would be really unfortunate. The Galactic Rangers stay at the bridge and they are not in his range. They won't be helping us. This is not looking good. I reload this final battle and I use the exact same strategy again, although I rushed a lot more because I had plenty of shield charges remaining. So I try to be real clever by doing this. The turret even lifts me up and I keep on hoping that Ratchet will find a place to stand on so I can make an extra jump. But of course this turret gets taken out because of my shield. And I'm quickly back on the ground again. I don't know what to do. I have tried everything to get up there. And I also have tried to place down holo shields. Maybe the damage of the tanks will bounce back, resulting in damage, but no, they are out of range. I'm sorry, but to my knowledge, this is as far as you can go in a run with only shields. It's deflating to see that we can find a way to kill this Mama boss fight, but not a single enemy tank, which should be around a 4 to 5 hit KO, I believe. Crazy. But that doesn't stop me from continuing though. Planet Dax is up next. I'd explore the left side first and I used the strat of running through everything. Very effective, especially with the shields. So it won't take long for me to reach the end. But we also have to tackle the right side, and this one seems tricky. We have to defeat this ship in order to progress. So what I do is I jump forward off this platform to see if I can hit the ship with my shield. The answer? No. And to make matters worse, upon standing on the side of the platform, the rockets break the outer ring here. So that also breaks any chance there was for me to jump to the ship even more. So the shield charger is no option. What about ultra shields? They do deal damage to the ship, but that is just so very few damage. That is negligible. However, you can see the amount of health I took off the ship by using all of my ammo. What I should have done is obvious to me now, after the run. I should have used the PDA to keep buying my ammo back. I guess that is a form of cheating since the PDA is only available at the end of the game, but under our current rule set, we have to play on New Game Plus. Otherwise, we would never have access to the shields the entire game. The entire run would have been invalid. But at the time of this fight, the PDA never crossed my mind. What did I do? I sought other means. Well, should it be possible to reach the other side of this gap and skip this boss fight altogether? With the thruster pack, it certainly isn't, but I keep on trying with the charge boots. Now, there is a small piece of rock that looks like I can stand on. With a good jump, maybe thruster pack boosted, should it be possible to get to the other side? Well, you have to be precise, but it certainly is. Oh my! But don't just celebrate yet. The cutscene of Courtney Gears plays, but what I notice is that there is no taxi available. There is no way for me to go back to my ship. And of course, the ship is still alive. That means that the game must register this ship as a key component to continue, instead of the cutscene that just played. Damn it, so I found an amazing workaround, but it's just not possible. However, this loss comes with some upsides and some downsides. The upside is that the ship keeps on focusing on the platform, like an idiot. He can't face me anymore, making me completely immune to damage. Plus, I am now in his range with my shield charger, and I actually do deal damage to him. But the downside is that the ship keeps on spinning around the previously mentioned platform. Most of the time, I'm just waiting here for the ship to come in my range, and it looks like there's nothing I can do. I would occasionally run to the place where the taxi should be. Maybe that will trigger the ship in coming back into the entrance of this building, but it doesn't seem to do so. So at this point, I know this part could potentially take hours. Every time I jump and the camera is doing something weird, I'm in the risk of losing the entire run by falling into the water, which happened to me a few times previously. So here I am, thinking about how I will position myself on the end of this platform and just do the other things instead for a couple of hours, till I have hopefully beaten this boss fight. I have to take a shower, I have some administration that I have to do. Given this might take hours, I think this is going to be fine. However, when I'm undressing to get in the shower, a thought occurs. Of course, the shield charge could very easily run out, and if this happens, you can kiss damage goodbye. So this is not a good strategy. I literally have to be here for hours upon hours to have a shot at beating him. But at some point, I had an epiphany. I kept on thinking, how does the ship spin around? Is it random? Is it tied to my position? Well guys, I found something out. The placement of the ship is, as far as I'm concerned, tied to the camera. And this is really interesting, because now that I know this information, I will abuse the hell out of this system. What if I will stand here and lock the camera in this right corner? That means that the ship will only stay in the left half of the circle. Most of the time, he will even be in my corner and I can do a lot more damage than previously. There is one problem with this system though, and that is that the camera doesn't like to be in this place, and it will sometimes do its absolute best to maneuver back inside the building. You will have to manually adjust, but that can be scary like I said. if you're right in the process of doing damage. But with this strategy, you can defeat him, right? Well, I've learned so much in this fight, but the 6 shield charges are not enough to deplete the health bar of this ship, unfortunately. I thought at the time that this was the end. I even have placed all of my hollow shield ammo down for when the ship used the laser attack. Maybe the lasers will be pushed back? But no, it never worked. So unfortunately, I took out the Tyrannos and killed this damn ship with only a couple of blasts. And it feels so dumb watching back the footage because the strategy is so clear to me. Just use the PDA. It would have taken a lot of time to actually beat the ship, but this strategy would have worked indefinitely. On to Blackwater City. The run was never in real doubt here. There are a lot of shooting enemies and the hollow shield can return most of the damage. And you know what the funny thing was? I did constantly use the PDA here, because I was scared that a challenge would end sooner rather than later by having my shield charge ammo deplete. All the challenges were easy, although I feel like I could have done this way faster, if I was just a little more reckless. Scorpio in Annihilation Nation is also very easy, since their fire can't hurt me because of the shield charges. And those 5 ammo pods are enough to take them out. At Hollowstar Studios something interesting happens. After the Clank part, I stopped playing for the day and continued a few days later. But I guess the game registered this level as me coming back after having already beaten it, since the beginning part has way less enemies than otherwise. The part where I actually needed any strategy is this part, where the ship starts to block the way. At first I thought, why not swing back and forth until the ship has taken enough damage to die, but it takes no damage while I am swinging. Luckily, I can just swing through. Now, time for the part I've been afraid of this entire run. The Courtney Gears boss fight. Going in, I think there's no way in the world that I'm able to win this, but let's try anyway. And you know what? I was absolutely right. See, all the goons are no problem. They are easy 2-hit KOs. But Courtney's health bar is the issue here. I did try some Ultra Shield shenanigans, but her main attack will just go through most of them. And her, well, let's say, laser beams attack are blocked. But the hollow shields are unable to do damage to her. So after about 20 minutes of trying, I thought, what if I used the Tyrannos to get her to phase 2? Is it possible then? The answer is also no, because now she's on my platform, but she does no attacks that trigger the Ultra Shields to do damage to them. Unfortunately, Courtney Gears is the next part where it's theoretically impossible to progress with only shields. And you might think, well, is the entire run gonna be that regular levels are exceptionally easy and boss fights are impossible? Well, don't close off this video because oh my god, Metropolis posed such an interesting challenge. I mean, not the regular level of course. I guess I could have very easily done the strat of just running through everything, but I decided to change things up a bit and actually kill everyone. It took some time, but I was never in any danger. But the Clunk fight was a delight. See, just like with Courtney Gears, there is no way that the shield charger will deal enough damage to actually take that big guy out. So we need something else. But the attack he does most is creating an energy ball that just splashes on the ground and creates a shockwave. But sometimes Clunk decides to shoot rockets. And they actually do deal damage to him when hit onto an Ultra Shield. But come on, 14 Ultra Shields will never be enough, right? I have to resort to the PDA. Well, actually, I found out a second thing. I know now what the spawn pattern is for the ammo crate that is all the way at the end of my platform. It's exactly the 4th line here. If you cross that, and I think you have to make sure that the camera doesn't face the ammo box, a new one has spawned. So this fight is going to be absolute hell and will take ages, but theoretically possible. But is it possible in the practical sense? Well, let's talk about some key features. When you are all the way in the back collecting ammo, Clunk will occasionally just do some form of gym exercise and he won't fire any of his weapons, which is great. Furthermore, most of the time you are doing one of two things. 1. Jumping away from his main attack, and when he decides to switch sides, it's better to jump into him and throw Holo Shield. This means that he will need a little bit more time to get from A to B. And during this time your shield charger can potentially get another hit in. And the rockets he shoots have a little more time to hit the Ultra Shields and do damage to him. Second thing, you will try to keep him on one side and put down as many Holo Shields as possible. Halfway during the fight I equip my 4th shield charge. That does mean I'm a little behind on schedule, but I do have faith that I can actually keep it up. The dangerous part of this boss fight is that it's in the air on a flying ship. This means that gravity is sometimes not very cool. Ultra Shields will randomly move backwards, and the camera does some weird spins. I got a lot of close calls this way. Remember, one mistake, I fall off the platform and it's all the way back to the beginning. Now I want you to guess how long the winning attempt took. I think I took out Clunk on my 4th attempt or something, but please guess how long this fight took. That usually takes around 4 minutes or so. If you guessed 25 minutes and 30 seconds, you are correct. It was actually pathetic to see how long this actually was. This leads me to fear the upcoming Nefarious fight. And you know what? We're almost there, to be honest with you. Because what more is there to do? The crash site at planet Zeldrin? Well, sure, but the run through everything strat is by far the most effective here. There are so many enemies, but none of them are worth my time. In fact, it took me exactly 1 minute and 36 seconds to rush through everything, collect the data from Quark's escape pod, and return to my ship. Excellent. On Aridia, there's not much different. See, the first challenge asks that you take out all the enemies. What you might not know is that this isn't the objective at all. The objective is to reach the hover ship at the end of the cavern. Charge boots? Very effective here. And what is there more to say? I had a lot of fun with the second to last mission, where you have to take control of all these nodes. See, placing a Holo Shield in the middle and equipping a shield charge actually makes sure I block basically all damage, except the giant rockets. But I just have to hold on for a couple of seconds, and that is enough. In the last challenge you have to take over the enemy base, but luckily there is no tank on top this time, and you can actually beat this in no time. I'm not even mentioning Quark's hideout. It was an easy speedrun to the finish. I mean, the enemies have a lot of HP here, but just run through everything and you should be fine. I did the attack on the Phoenix twice. At first I thought, let's switch things up. I'm not sure if running through everything will work, and you know, we are nearing the end of the game. So this should be a good point to kinda see where we're at. The ninjas are mostly a 5 to 6 hit KO with the shield charger. The Holo Shield is kinda pointless here. However, I did think that it would come into play at the end, with the big robot that shoots a lot. So I tried to place all 4 Holo Shields around him to have the most chance of getting a hit in and gaining extra damage. My ammo is gone, so run all the way back to the vendor. This is going to be a long fight, so better to stock up on as much ammo as I can, right? Oh, he dies in seconds? Huh, this feels weird. The run is not hard at all, but still not possible due to a few weird roadblocks. It took me 6.5 minutes to complete this level, but if things are going to be this easy, then I might as well speedrun everything. So here we go. Equip my shield charger, buy another one, and off goes the race. And I'm going to use charge boots and thruster pack a lot. All these enemies don't have to die, except this one. Here, make sure you don't kill enemies with the refractor beam and just charge boot to the bridge. Now you probably think, is the rest of the game gonna be like this? Well, Koros is. Although I have to say that I died once because of this ledge that caught me off guard. But let's talk about planet Mylon, the last level, because oh my, I had problems with this level. Taking damage here is not guaranteed, but it is likely that you do at some point. There's a lot going on, but the damage output is really inconsistent. Sometimes it would take 1 HP off, other times I believe up to around 40 HP. I guess that also has something to do with the damage my shield charger takes up, but the difference was insane. The later parts of this level are so hard that you actually don't want any damage at all. So better to avoid it, obviously. See, at this ledge, try to maneuver a little left to right. That makes sure you don't take damage, usually. At this gap, it's better to wait until the Tyranoid shot 3 times and then you jump. It's the most risk-free and your shield charger will still have the most lives remaining. Starting at this place, I'd advise you to start killing the enemies. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons. The room after this one is the hardest yet. So we want to use this room sort of like a home base to fall back onto. Second, these Tyranoids are perfect for my ultra shields. It's going to take a while, but their bullets will certainly kill themselves. Now this last room here is a problem. You can't run through everything. The door at the end only opens at a certain point. And this point is when both green guys standing at the lower floor are dead. Luckily, because if we had to kill those guys up there as well, this could be messy. But that means we have to find a way to kill these guys who are kind of far away, fire deadly shots and shoot all together. Yes, this cost me a couple of tries. Now what I found out is that it's actually the best thing to use the reload time of the green guys as a window to move forward. Their shots do the most damage onto me, so if they are temporarily disabled, that's better. So with the using cover behind my holo shields and using all of my shield charges, I was able to do it. But it took some time. Good thing for me was that I had very recently done a shock cannon only run that had similar problems, so I did have starting knowledge. And what I also knew is that Nefarious is, well, it's just not fair. And of course it's not. I'm using only shields and doing nothing. But I have done this fight for about 3 hours and I did find some stuff out. See, Nefarious has 3 things that he can do in the first third of this fight. Attack 1. He pushes clones forward or something. At the second attack he shoots some form of beam from a gun. And attack 3 is him throwing bombs that explode in a circle on the ground. Now if you really think about it, what comes to mind? Well, my first thoughts are, damn it, my holo shields are only able to redirect damage on his second attack. And this sucks, because that means I'm going to spend most of this fight waiting for Nefarious to use attack 2 to gain very low bits of damage in. And if you're doing this for so long and negate easy attacks, mistakes are very easily made and you gain damage. And taking damage is not a huge deal. There are health boxes available. But once you take too many, the rest of this fight is going to be impossible, and that's just a reset. What we already know about the shields is that they take up a certain amount of damage before disappearing. But right now, we are in the final level and Nefarious does a lot of damage. That means that when Nefarious finally does this attack, my ultra shields vanish almost instantly, and I have to keep throwing them down. But remember, the fire rate is incredibly low, so even when I get to attack 2, I lose a lot of time where I could otherwise do damage, and now, not. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be here a while. But David, why not use shield charges? They've worked so well on the entire run, what are you doing? Well, this of course is intentional. I need my shield charge for later parts in the run. I already have 1 fewer, because this is one of those levels that starts from the dropship and I cannot equip one by one back. No, 5 shield charges is all we gain. Now let's fast forward. I usually beat this part after about 20 to 23 minutes of gameplay. Do you realize how long that is? However, now the real fight begins. We have to get to Nefarious on the second platform he's on. There are a lot of enemies, but I have 0 interest in killing them. It does depend on the current situation, how you are going to tackle this part. When you are full at health, charge boot right on through. If you're in the need of health, this is the part to do it. There are a couple of health boxes here, and I'd advise you to boost from one to the other and immediately take cover afterwards. There are a lot of soldiers and big robots, but there is literally nothing stopping you from just running past them. But listen, this next part is where you need the shield charges for. Because most of the times, 1 or 2 soldiers follow me to the platform and don't stop until after they've dealt damage or are taken out. But I don't want to damage them, and of course I don't want damage taken onto me. But damage onto them is damage wasted that could otherwise have gone to Nefarious. But look, all of this doesn't matter, because on the platform the fight becomes unfair. I mean it. Nefarious does the same 3 attacks, but on attack 1 he adds an extra clone. But there is a 4th attack that he will do here. He will, let's say, hide in the air where only shield charges can hit him, and he will fire rockets that you have to evade. This takes forever. And look how far we are. This attempt had lasted for about 24-25 minutes now, and I mean, we're not close, it's not close. But you know, if this was it, it would just take a long time. But for the second time I'm gonna say, all of this doesn't matter. And that is because the enemies we cruised by earlier are still alive. The game expects you to have killed them by now, but I really am not going to do that. They would have taken up all of my ammo while leaving me exposed to so much damage. They have to be alive to have any chance of beating this run. But the problem this gives is that they will shoot me. And because of the range is so large, some of the shots are not visible anymore, but do deal damage. This results in the fact that when you are fighting a way better Nefarious than before, you randomly take damage from nothing. I mean, not nothing, it's the shots from those soldiers, but they weren't visible. Not always. You can see some, but not all of them. Even my holo shields glitch out, and the textures disappear. There is one more thing that I tried, and that is to use this disadvantage to my advantage. See, what would happen if I would position myself so that the enemy shoot Nefarious instead? You know what? That absolutely works, and he gains damage from it. It's not a lot, but it is some damage. It's quite hard to pull this off, however, because Nefarious moves around and I cannot be in one place when the shots come. That would literally mean that I would take damage from it, which is exactly what I don't want. After a while, my shield charges run out and my only remaining tool of dealing damage is the holo shields. But I'm still only halfway. Nefarious would later do like a double team attack, where all different clones run on this island and basically nowhere is safe. So even when this fight, on a theoretical sense, is completable, I'd say that the practical chances of you pulling this off are 0. If a human being cannot do this with, I believe, many years of practice and trying, I declare that impossible. And what am I saying? This run has already failed. It's not like I've tried to win the run or anything. I've tried everything and unfortunately it wasn't enough. Would I recommend this run? Not really, but it's up to you, I guess. It did surprise me how fast the run was, even as a pacifist. I thought that levels would possibly have taken hours, but you do become aware of the things that you can run through in this game. So if you want to try this run, by all means. You're going to play different than usual, so that could be fun. But the run is impossible and boss fights could take much of your time. Now, if you have good ideas for run in Ratchet and Clank games or other games, please suggest them to me in the comments. I'm always on the lookout for new challenge ideas. For now, that's it for me. This has been yet another obscure video game run, so until next time I'd say, take care.